10,000 years ago. Mesopotamia, the first cities on Earth. A man is standing in a market, not selling grain, not selling tools, selling another human being. A price is agreed, a trade is made, and that person walks away, owned. This wasn't a rare event. This wasn't one cruel civilization. This was almost every early human society on every continent. Welcome to the darkest invention humanity ever created. Before you say, that was just ancient Rome or Egypt, let me stop you. Slavery existed in Mesopotamia, in Egypt, in China, in Greece. The first written law code in human history, the Code of Hammurabi, has entire sections dedicated to slaves. Not human rights, slave rights. So the real question is not, did ancient humans own each other? We know they did. The real question is, why did this only start after cities were built? And why, for hundreds of thousands of years before that, it almost never existed at all? Here's what almost nobody tells you. For over 200,000 years, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, small tribes, constant movements, no permanent homes. And in that world, slavery barely existed. Not because ancient humans were kind, but because slavery is, mathematically, useless. Without one thing: surplus. If your tribe moves every few weeks, if you can only carry what you can walk with, an extra person to feed, guard, and control is a burden, not a resource. There's nothing for them to produce that's worth the cost of controlling them. Then, around 10,000 BCE, everything changed. The Neolithic Revolution. Humans stopped moving, started farming, started storing food, and for the first time, a human being became profitable to own. The moment humans started farming, slavery didn't slowly appear, it exploded. Across 4 completely different continents at almost the exact same time. And the reasons were darker than you'd expect. Scientists and historians have identified 3 main paths into ancient slavery. Path 1. War. In ancient Egypt, captured prisoners of war were labeled and forced into permanent labor, their hands bound behind their backs in temple carvings that still survive today. If your tribe lost a battle, you didn't just lose land, you lost your freedom. Path 2. Debt. This one is the most disturbing. In Mesopotamia, if you couldn't pay what you owed, you didn't go to prison, you became property. Sometimes for a few years, sometimes forever. Parents sold their own children to settle debts. Path 3. Birth. If your mother was enslaved, you were born enslaved. No war, no debt, no choice, just the accident of birth. In ancient Egypt alone, historians identify 3 separate categories: people captured in war, people forced into state labor, and people who sold themselves into servitude just to survive. 3 completely different reasons, 1 identical outcome. But here's the part that will really disturb you. This wasn't based on skin color, wasn't based on where you were from. For most of ancient history, anyone could become a slave, including people from your own tribe, including people who looked exactly like you. So what changed that? For thousands of years, slavery was about circumstance. You lost a war, you owed a debt, you were born into it. It could happen to anyone. Historians studying early slavery confirm that ancient slavery had nothing to do with race. It was purely an economic system. And at some point in history, nearly every population on Earth was either enslaved or enslaved others. That's the uncomfortable truth. There was no slave race and free race. There was only power and the lack of it. It wasn't until centuries later, with the rise of transatlantic trade, that slavery shifted from anyone can fall into this to something built specifically around race. That shift changed the world forever, and its damage is still being measured today. So here's the question you've been waiting for. If slavery was almost universal, if it existed on every continent, Why did humans eventually decide to end it? 3 things changed. Change 1. Economics shifted. As machines and industry replaced manual labor, owning a human being became less profitable than paying one. Change 2. The circle widened. Just like we saw with cannibalism, the definition of who counts as us kept expanding. Enslaved people were no longer seen as outsiders, they were recognized as fully human. Change 3. People fought back. Revolts, resistance, movements that spanned generations. Freedom was never given, it was taken. Here's what I want you to take from this. Slavery wasn't invented by one evil civilization. It was invented the moment humans discovered surplus. The moment we had more than we needed, we had to decide who gets to keep it. And for thousands of years, the answer was whoever has power. The story of human history isn't really about kings, wars, or inventions. It's about one repeating question: who counts as us and who doesn't? We've been answering that question for 10,000 years. We're still answering it. Subscribe to Human Roots. Comment below, what other normal thing today might future generations see the way we see this? See you next time.